You've heard it from us plenty of times this season, and the teams have been saying the same thing as well. The FIA has some massive issues at the moment. From holding a hard line on rules no one really cares about, to some very sketchy potential rule change leaks, to the teams quietly threatening to overthrow them, the FIA have had a rough season. They've realised they needed to make changes, but no one was expecting the changes to be this far-reaching. Is it going to be enough to save the FIA though? Or is 2023 going to be another season of embarrassment for them? Well, stick around to find out. I guess the sensible place to start is with what the FIA have actually done. The FIA is the governing body of Formula 1 and has all the say on rule changes, both technical, sporting and financial. They also appoint the race directors for each race, so they have a massive influence over what happens to the sport on and off the track. So when they make any changes, it is a big deal. But when they update the management structure, that has massive implications. Following an increase in investment and resources into the sport from the governing body, they've been able to action these changes in the run-up to the 2023 season. Under President Mohammed Ben Sulayem and FIA Deputy President for Sport Robert Reid, a review of the FIA's internal procedures has been carried out, with a new overall structure being implemented to coincide with the beginning of the 2023 F1 season. Nicholas Tombazis, who was the FIA's head of single-seater matters and oversaw the FIA's technical department, which helped bring about the 2022 regulation changes, has been appointed as the FIA's single-seater director. Under his remit will be the sporting, technical, financial, and strategy and operations directors. Working under Nicholas will be the new FIA sporting director Steve Nielson. The Formula 1 veteran has taken the new role with the governing body, with the aim of fixing the sport's race management problems. Nielson has left a senior F1 position to become FIA sporting director. The 58-year-old Briton will oversee race control operations, which have been at the centre of a series of controversies in recent years. Nielson has been sporting director for commercial rights holder F1 since 2017, under former managing director Ross Brawn, and before that had a long career as sporting director for a series of teams. Nielson's move comes with the blessing of F1, which believes he's the right man to fix issues that have been the subject of concern within the sport for some time. Ben Sulayem said, "We have dedicated a lot of time and effort to making significant, informed changes to our F1 team, to create the right structure with the right people to oversee the future regulation of the sport. By developing and empowering people within our organization, as well as bringing in expertise and experience from the outside, I am confident we're in the best position possible to move forward together with our partners at F1 management and the F1 teams." You'll note from Ben Sulayem's statement that he's very keen to say that these changes have been made to help the FIA move forward with the F1 teams and Formula 1 management, who are a separate entity to the FIA. Formula 1 is the FIA's biggest series, the jewel in its motorsports crown, and it does not want to lose it. But why is the FIA at risk of losing Formula 1 in the first place? The FIA sacked Massey last year as a result of his failure to apply the rules correctly during a late safety car period in Abu Dhabi. His actions led to the championship changing hands from Lewis Hamilton to Max Verstappen. The FIA instigated a series of changes to race direction following the controversy, but errors from race control continued throughout last season, to the frustration of drivers and teams. These mistakes peaked at the Japanese Grand Prix, when a recovery vehicle was sent out on track in conditions of heavy rain and low visibility, reviving memories of the death of Jules Bianchi in the same race 8 years before. This is certainly the one that will stick in the memory of the teams for the longest. Pierre Gasly, the driver who nearly hit the recovery vehicle, will never forget it appearing through the rain in front of him. But there were other problems over the course of the season. The errors included mismanagement of the start procedure at the Monaco Grand Prix, a failure to restart the Italian Grand Prix, leading to the race ending under a safety car, confusion over the point system and whether Max Verstappen had clinched the title at the Japanese Grand Prix, and a series of incidents in which drivers raised questions about the FIA's handling of safety matters. Off the track, the drivers had plenty of complaints as well. Having 2 race directors working on a rotation for the 2022 season seemed like a sound idea to begin with. The problem was that the drivers had no continuity with the race direction. If they had issues from the weekend before, the person they wanted to speak to was never there. This prompted George Russell of the Grand Prix Drivers Association to release a statement on behalf of all the drivers condemning the system. Part of Nielson's new role will be to oversee the race directors and guide them in difficult circumstances to avoid a repeat of the problems that plagued 2022. How is it that the FIA got to this point though? I've been watching Formula 1 for most of my 30-year life. Admittedly, I can't remember a lot of it, but looking back at what I do remember, I don't think it was this bad, was it? Maybe I'm just looking with rose-tinted glasses. I think the problem is that the FIA has never fully replaced its former F1 director, Whiting, since he died on the eve of the 2019 season. As FIA F1 director, Whiting oversaw all technical and sporting matters within the sport, and also acted as race director and official starter. It was recognized at the time that Whiting's role was too big for one person, and that his responsibilities needed to be split up. Unfortunately, it's taken a few years for anyone to act on that. Tom Baz's new role is an echo of Whiting's former position as F1 director, but within a structure that offers more support. Nielson, an expert in the rules governing the sporting side of F1, spent more than a decade at the team now known as Alpine, spanning their various iterations as Benetton, Renault and then Lotus. In a 30-year career, he's also performed the role for Red Bull's second team Toro Rosso and Williams, and the now defunct Tyrrell and Arrows teams. He has retained a central role in sporting matters following his move to F1 under managing director Brawn, after it was taken over by US company Liberty Media in 2017. I know I keep going on about how good an appointment this is for the sport, but it is exciting, and I have some quotes from the team bosses to back it up as well. McLaren Racing Chief Executive Officer Zak Brown told BBC Sport, "Steve is immensely respected, very well known, and has a relationship with everyone in the pit lane. In roles like that, do they have technical skill set? Yes. Do they have the credibility and relationships? Yes. So he ticks the boxes, where I don't think a single team will be questioning the decision and the rationale. We all know that Formula 1 is as much a political sport as it is a racing sport. Being able to navigate the complex environment and walk the line between enforcing rules, allowing the racing to be entertaining, and making sure the interviews focus on the action on track and in the garage is a must for this job. And Zak isn't the only one who thinks Nielson will be great at doing just that. As team principal Gunther Steiner said, "It's fantastic that F1 made him available, because he has been in F1 so long, so he knows a lot of history of what happened in different situations. That is the biggest thing that some of the people who came in missed the history of the last 20 years. It's very difficult to teach." The changes don't end there though. Nielsen's appointment is probably the one that will be most widely felt though. Replacing Tom Bazis in the role of overseeing the FIA's technical department is Tim Goss, former McLaren technical director, who was Tom Baz's deputy. Federico Lodi, who was in charge of the FIA's financial regulations team, becomes the FIA's F1 financial director. Francois Sicard, formerly the FIA's sporting director and previously DAM's managing director, becomes the FIA's strategy and operations director. His role will be responsible for long-term strategic planning, as well as trackside activities and logistics. If you were worried that the 2023 season could descend into a joke, like it did many times in 2022, then fear no more. These changes are massive for the sport. It is a complete restructuring of the management structure of the sport, and hopefully the effects will be felt quickly. If you weren't already 100% hyped for the new season to start, this should get you there. Do you think this is enough to solve the race management problems and the issues at the FIA? Let us know your opinion in the comments down below, and on your way down, don't forget to subscribe in preparation for the 2023 season. Until next time, drive safe and bye for now.